inspection and reconditioning process.
So let's say I buy a car. Can I launch my dirt bike over it?
Sure. Can you do that?
I don't have to answer that.
Hi there, Dave Samuels.
Samuels, yes.
Yo.
Yes, so wait, how long will it take for me to buy this car?
Look.
Feel free to take as much time as you'd like, but you could realistically complete the purchase process in as little as 10 to 15 minutes.
All right. Let's get it popping. Brett Favre. I want to say we talked about this before, but it's been some shit to like come up as of recently. So let's rock with it. So let's see. Let's go here.
An investigative report by Mississippi Today revealed Tuesday that former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant helped former NFL quarterback Brett Favre obtain welfare funds in order to help build a new volleyball center at the University of Southern Mississippi. Favre's daughter played volleyball at Southern Miss, which also is where...
I don't know if I'm finna get flagged for this shit. We finna find out, though.
Favre was a star quarterback. State auditors determined nonprofit leaders misspent at least $77 million in welfare funds in the largest case of public fraud in Mississippi history. The texts show Favre, Nancy New, and Phil Bryant discussing how to divert at least $5 million in welfare funds to build a volleyball stadium at Southern Miss. Stephen A., your reaction to the latest?
Mississippi only gets about, I think they said $84 million a year, I think. I think they only get that much a year for welfare programs. So, and they said Mississippi like misspent 70 plus million of that. So I wonder how much, I forget how much Brett Favre got.
Latest on this story.
Well, my first reaction is that Brett Favre looks sleazy as hell. This is one of the more egregious things that you could possibly fathom. And the thing about it that you know, really, really vexes me is that I'm going to say it. Most folks may not say it. I'm going to say it. You know, on so many occasions, the black athlete laments the fact that the slightest thing that happens, they're paraded all over the news and all over the airwaves. It's not to say that Sports Center didn't touch it or whatever, but I certainly haven't heard too many people in the profession that I know, that I have seen talking on a plethora of issues over the years, say anything about Brett Favre. And I know he might be on the competition, for the competition or whatever the case may be.
One moment. You know, if you ever realize folks on YouTube, they be pausing that shit a lot because they ain't trying to get flagged. So, that's how that shit goes.
But let me tell you something. I applaud my brother Shannon Sharp for calling this out the way that he did yesterday. Because I'll be damned if I wasn't going to do it today. I didn't even know about it. I wasn't paying any attention to it. And then all of a sudden, I see this stuff coming up. I couldn't have been more appalled. Let's put this in its proper perspective. The golden boy, Brett Favre. I mean, remember him, Molly? Oh, look at him jumping to the arms of his offensive lineman. Oh, look at him falling down and flipping the ball underhanded. He's the little kids in him. The game never leaves him. And everybody's applauding. Here you are in the state of Mississippi.
All right. I know y'all like Stephen A., but they're really not explaining the situation.
She was supposed to be the one.
I used to believe in the one. And then I realized there's plenty of saving.
We're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm from Mississippi, y'all, so this is important to me.
Back here at home now into an alleged scandal involving $77 million in welfare money. Where did it go? New questions in this probe. The scandal now allegedly involving NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
State officials say it's the largest case of public fraud in Mississippi's history. Some $77 million in welfare money spent on things that have nothing to do with needy families. And tonight, there are text messages from one of the state's most famous sons that allegedly have him caught up deep in the scandal. NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre is facing questions tonight of whether he knowingly took $5 million of state welfare money to build a new volleyball facility for his daughter's team 5 years ago at her university and his alma mater. It's all laid out in court documents obtained by our affiliate WAPT in Jackson and text messages provided by an attorney representing former nonprofit director Nancy New, who has already pleaded guilty to fraud in the $77 million scheme. Favre asks, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much?
That's how you know you fucked up. Why would you put that shit in a text message, Brett Favre? These old folks funny. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? They do now, bitch.
How much? And in another message that names a former governor, Nancy New writes to Favre, wow, just got off the phone with Phil Bryant. He is on board with us. We will get this done. Bryant has long denied that as governor, he helped use welfare funds to pay for the new stadium.
Favre. Just want to say y'all Phil Bryant a bitch-ass white dude.
Puts it up. The former quarterback who broke all career passing records as a Green Bay Packer has already returned about $1.1 million that the state of Mississippi paid to him from that same welfare fund for motivational speeches that a state auditor says he never gave. Favre's attorneys are denying that he ever knew he was receiving welfare money.
What?
The former governor has not been charged, and neither has Brett.
So with those text messages coming out, basically saying, you know, is there any way these people find out that I stole this money and y'all let me? His attorneys are also saying he didn't know he was taking that money. It's he's probably, I'd like to say he's going to jail, but you know, these rich white guys, man, they be ducking and dodging.
Favre, but the state of Mississippi is suing him. They want him to pay them more than $220,000 in interest for that speech money they say he never should have gotten. And to underline a point, these are welfare funds that were meant to go to people in the poorest state in the nation. David?
Steve Osunsami.
All right, so.
Involved in a scandal where you're bleeding money from potential welfare recipients. People who are poor and impoverished and struggling for every nickel and dime they have, scratching and clawing to eat, to have a roof over their head, to have clothes on their back, as recently to have water. This man is involved in a scandal where money is being taken from them. This is bad. Now, there was a point where he owed $1.1 million and he's caught via text messages asking for help to get him out of that jam. You got an additional $5 million that was thrown into the university.
I should have kept listening. Hold on.
An investigative report.
He owed $1.1 million jam. You got an additional $5 million that was thrown into the university for a volleyball court. Oh, by the way, his daughter was a member of the volleyball team. So there's some nepotism there in terms of favoritism. You involved, you got connections with the governor of the state. And because of that, you bled perks that ultimately facilitated you having millions of dollars in your pocket at this point, allegedly.
Let's see what Pat McAfee say.
So Copperfield?
Well,
come on.
I think it's going to have to be. There's going to be some money that's going to have to be owed. I do believe that.
He didn't know what he was doing. Gonna need a carpet for his brain.
I beg to differ, Tony. I read that whole article. It was about 8 pages. I read it this morning. It took me about 35 minutes. Brett Favre is a goddamn criminal mastermind. I mean, I had no idea. I thought Brett was just some dumb hayseed. I love watching him play football. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. This guy's like fucking Bernie Madoff, what he was doing down there.
Holy shit.
It wasn't for him, though, right? It was for donations.
No, yeah, it was for Southern Miss's new volleyball facility that his daughter is part of the team. But basically just going directly to the governor of the state and being like, hey, what do let's get this done. And then him pretty much greenlighting it. And then anytime there was a snag, Brett would text like an aide or an assistant, and be like, "What do we got to do?"
Be on
Push
his ass, bro. They making jokes. We'll see what Chris Broussard and them say. Damn.
All right, Rob.
Mississippi
Another
is everywhere,
story
baby.
around the
Mississippi is taking over. We got primetime coach Deion Sanders out in this bit, boy. You know what I'm saying? All that. Brett Favre out here bullshitting. You know what I mean? We are the news right now.
NFL featuring a former superstar, Brett Favre. And
this is a bad story, Chris. I'm sorry.
It is. We're going to ask Rob G to kind of summarize the situation.
From funds from the state of Mississippi.
Let's keep going.
He just knew it was coming from the government.
What?
That's low. Come on, you're rich? And you're rich, Chris? Really?
Rob, I'm sorry. I said it the other day, and I'm going to repeat it. When your crime is bad all the way around, right?
Yep.
But when you are wealthy, rich, he made what, $100 million in his career or something? Probably more. I'll check that out. But when you're wealthy and rich and you still commit crimes, not that it's okay for a poor person.
Right.
But you're just doing this strictly out of greed. There is no other reason. Why in the world would Brett Favre take money from the poorest people in the poorest state? So they're the poorest people in the freaking country.
Right.
And I think when people who are wealthy and rich do crimes like this, they should get the book thrown at them.
And I love that
they should get a higher punishment than the poor, everyday run-of-the-mill guy, little criminal on the street.
Who doesn't have any money.
Not that they should get off, but you know what I mean?
Who doesn't have any money, Chris, and they're stealing Pampers for the baby or milk. It ain't right, but I can understand it if you don't have money and you have a baby at home.
I was finna tap out on y'all. I was finna tap out on y'all boys. You know what I mean? Brett Favre, baby. See what Nick Wright got to say.
YouTube TV has no hidden fees.
Ah, shut the fuck up.
Here's how Favre saved my website. Hi, I'm Lauren McGowan. I'm a content creator and owner of...
New text message in a civil lawsuit linked Brett Favre to a former Mississippi governor. The text suggests that the plan was to divert $5 million to play.
I just want to say, Nick Wright looks like a fuckboy with this hair.
For a new volleyball stadium.
$5 million in welfare money to pay for a new volleyball stadium where Brett Favre's daughter played at Southern Miss. Yep.
Right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I jumped in.
Obviously, yeah. Favre's daughter was on the team.
Yeah.
What do you think of this situation?
Okay. So, obviously, this is just pathological. And Shannon Sharp said it. Miss Shannon Sharp said this part, and it's correct. I just want to reiterate it. Mississippi is the poorest state in the country. The poor people of Jackson, Mississippi, don't even have clean drinking water. And it also happens to be a city my wife lived in, the city, or the state my wife lived in, and the state where DeMonte was born.
And I'm from Mississippi. I gotta figure out Nick Wright's wife, who the fuck this is, because I ain't no way she lived in Mississippi. Maybe she was born there. Maybe that's what he said, born. I gotta figure this one out. Nick Wright not that much older than me. Oh, he got a black wife. You are damn, that's his son he's with right now? Yo, you're crazy. Damn, Nick might have scored some points, bro. I might fuck with Nick a little bit more. Fuck me, bro. That's his son. Y'all see, dude? That's his son. And his wife is beautiful. Okay, I gotta read her bio, dog. She is gorgeous. Nick, you did your thing, bro. Damn, I might have to fuck with Nick a little bit harder. I hated sports takes. She is gorgeous. They've been married since 2000. Wait. They married in 2013 after dating for 6 years. 6 years is a good time to date. Good job. This ain't much of a bio. Damn. And she's an analyst? Oh, that's crazy. They ain't got much on her. But that's wild, though. That's why he said sorry. You know what? Nick Wright might have some lovely kids. Like, it's crazy. Like, damn.
And it is just pathological to steal, which is what this is, from the poorest people in the country, which is what welfare recipients in Mississippi qualify as some of the poorest, most destitute people in the country. And to divert these funds so you can look like a hero, like you donated money to Southern Miss for a volleyball stadium, is just unfathomable. This is on top of the fact he already got some money from the state for speeches he didn't give. But everyone agrees with that. I think everyone agrees with that take. Here is where I said it's going to touch on politics. It is absolutely maddening to me and the media has a ton to do with this, and just people's general perceptions, what we decide to get angry about. My entire life, my whole life, I have seen people elected or run campaigns or the news media focus on what they call waste or abuse of basically poor people getting too much. We'll give you food stamps, but are you going to spend it on lobster? Oh, where you can have welfare if you're working poor, but you need to verify through 6 levels of bureaucracy that you're actually working out, getting a job. Like,
while Nick is making points, his son looks like a fucking athlete.
This is where the waste of our tax dollars go. That it's poor people that are getting over on everybody. And it's just impossible when you know how the world actually works. When you know that nobody of any substance bats an eye, that we all agree, oh yeah, the wealthiest people have spent a lot of money to work around taxes, to cheat on taxes, to find loopholes in taxes. That is money that could go in the coffers. The coffers are so worried about that if a poor person wants to go to the grocery store, there's certain foods they can't buy because they don't qualify. But nobody looks at it in the same bucket. We all acknowledge that some of the most profitable companies in the country, we are paying their employees and nobody cares. What do I mean we are paying their employees? Okay? So this is very simple, and I don't know why more people don't talk about this. All right? We have decided, rightly or wrongly, I think rightly, that there is a poverty threshold in this country. That if you don't make X amount of dollars, we, the taxpayer, will kick in with food stamps, welfare, Medicaid, different things to help you get there. Get to what we call like the basic minimum standard
I think we exhausted what Nick Wright's finna say. Let's see who else got something to say. I'm just burning time at this point. Let's go to Shannon. Probably should have started with this.
You get stuff like that, boy, they move heaven and earth to try to put you in jail for $400 little measly dollars.
Fact.
Now this man done took $1 million. Somebody got $3 million. Somebody got $400,000.
Yeah.
And they sitting around like, well, you know, it happened, and we'll see. And they're gonna get more money and do it all over again.
And to your point, the Mississippi Department of Human Services had to file a civil lawsuit against Brett Favre because he had not paid back the interest he owed on the $1.1 million that he was fraudulently given for giving no speeches.
Right. And he won't even pay the 1.1 back. He won't even pay the interest on the money.
Right. It's $228,000.
I mean, you got to be really low.
Yeah.
You got to be really low. And
I already know I'm finna get copyrighted for this shit. It's so weird.
And people and politicians, you got to be really low too. To know that this money is supposed to go to the most underserved, and you take it and give it to people that's made millions or got millions or have the potential to make millions, and you're willing to do that, you're willing to let your people.
I'm good, man. You know, I just want to put y'all on game.